G'day everyone, Mick McGill here with Hoppy Tales Rabbit Barn. I just wanted to get on here and talk about the differences between a indoor rabbitry and an outdoor rabbitry, and the pros and cons from what I've seen and heard from different people who own rabbitries, and what might work best for you. So for me here, I've got a indoor rabbitry. I raise my rabbits in an air-conditioned barn. I love that. It works for me, it's perfect for what I want, and I can use some of that barn as a chicken coop, and eventually some of it's going to be for a goat pen as well later on down the road. But the indoor rabbitry allows me to be able to breed rabbits all year round, right? So when bucks, the male rabbits, it gets over 80-85 degrees and it stays that way for 3 days, they become sterile. Now it's temporary, it's not a permanent thing, but it does happen, and when they go sterile for up to 3 months. That's a long time to not be breeding rabbits, and for a lot of people that's fine. They shut down their rabbitry, they keep the rabbits going until the hot months go over. They've even got starts and stop dates often for when they're doing their first and last litters for their kids, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Now for me, I'm able to breed all year round, and many of us rabbitries are that do the air conditioning thing, but there's pros and cons to everything. So what if I lose air conditioning? You've got to be prepared for that kind of thing. So for me, I've got a few backups in place. I do have a second air conditioning unit that kicks on in the event that I lose power to my first one. And it's at a slightly higher. My rabbitry stays at 68 degrees. That one kicks on if it gets to 75. So I'm still in that safe range there. That's if my first air conditioning unit does die, and then the second one can kick on. It's on an auto one. The other thing I've got is if we lose power. It's happened before, it's going to happen every single year. Doesn't matter where you live, you're probably going to lose power at some point, right? And it's usually the most inconvenient time ever. It's in either the dead middle of summer or it's the dead middle of winter. For us, it's the summertime here. So the generator just hooks right up. I've had to use it a few times already. Runs smoothly, keeps the rabbitry nice and cool. Also, it's a powerful enough one, I can also run a few of my inside appliances, refrigerators, freezers, things like that on top of it as well. So there is that risk when you've got an indoor rabbitry like I've got. You might lose power. A barn, anybody that's got a barn will tell you, it'll get hot really, really, really fast, right? So it's going to get much hotter than it almost seems like it should. So it does run that high risk. Now, that's the biggest con behind it. The biggest pros are, like I said, you can breed year round. You don't have to worry about any issues there. The other thing is it helps keep the bugs down, helps keep the ammonia levels down. I've got a large amount of solar exhaust fans and fans that run in unison to keep pushing the ammonia out. So when I open up my rabbitry, it still smells nice and fresh. And I do clean it every single day. I go and I clean out the trays and all that, and around the rabbits and everything. The other thing I do to help keep the ammonia level down is by putting wood pellets. The little wood pellet things that soak up all that. So works for me. Now the cons is a huge financial setback right in the beginning. You've got a barn, you've got air conditioning, you've got air conditioning power, I've got a generator, I've got this, I've got this, I've got this. Huge bloody setback in the beginning. It does cost a lot to start up that operation, but it's usually a one-time cost, right? Depends on what you want to be doing it for. That might not be for you. It might be better for you to raise rabbits outside. Maybe you're wanting to do a small little family one or a homesteading thing. So, and there's nothing wrong with it at all. You raise them outside. A lot of people, the pros to raising rabbits outside is you don't have that high expense right up front. You don't have those problems right up front. You don't have that. The things that go through an indoor rabbitry are quite extensive in the beginning, but you don't have to deal with that with an outdoor rabbitry. You slap them up, you put the rabbits in, you make sure they got shade, this, that, whatever. The cons. The cons of an outdoor rabbitry is, one, a lot of them are exposed to predators. Rabbits have a bad habit of having heart attacks very quickly when they get scared, and sometimes they don't have the heart attack right when it happens. They can actually wait 24 hours and then have the heart attack from that fear. The other con that I've seen happen a lot is the heat. So the heat bothers indoor, outdoors, everybody, right? The heat's a really, really big issue, depending on where you live. And there are some varieties of rabbits you can get that are heat tolerant, the Tamuks. There's a few other different ones that are some slightly heat tolerant rabbits. I don't do Tamuks. I've got Silver Fox at the moment and Champagne Dehydrant coming in soon. But for me, or for the outdoor rabbit people, it will work for them. They'll stop the breeding to a certain time. They kick the breeding back up. They resume it. They might produce hundreds of rabbits a year. Nothing wrong with either one. You've got to do what works best for you. If it works better for you to have breeding year round, go for it. Set up a rabbitry, go all out. If it works better for you to do them outdoors, and this is the other con with the outdoors as well, is anything that's over 104.9 degrees is liable to have heat stroke when it comes to rabbits. So the problem is in south central Kentucky, we get way over 104 this summer. Doesn't often happen. Our humidity level's also quite high here, and that has caused a lot of problems for a lot of people. Even in my own rabbitry, I've had to really sort of keep a cautious eye on the humidity level to make sure it's not going too high, even though it is cool. I don't need the humidity dropping the ammonia levels down lower and then not pushing everything out of the rabbitry. So that's a con for just about everybody, but don't worry about what you see online, right? I sort of talked about this a little bit in another video. Everybody online is an absolute expert in absolutely nothing, right? You're going to see a whole bunch of, oh, breed them for heat tolerance. I didn't lose a single rabbit, and then you go back 2 months into their feed and like, oh, you lost all your rabbits, oh, well, it was different. Bugger it. You raise what's right for you. You raise the rabbits that are right for you. There are pros and cons to both sides of owning a rabbitry, whether it's indoors or outdoors. For me, like I said, indoor, great. I can breed all year round. I don't have to worry about it. I've got safeguards in place. Is it 100% guarantee? Absolutely not. I might be gone for hours one day and I lost power and I didn't know about it. I've got cameras and thermometers and this. You never know. It happened to a rabbitry not that long ago. So, or you might have them outdoors and then all of a sudden, bloody neighbor's dog comes over and starts ripping your rabbits apart. You just don't know, but you do your best. You do your best and you do what works for you. So those are the pros and cons. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll happy to help any way I can. All right, thanks guys. Have a great day.